Today we're making,
Kaki fry sandal,
which is
fried oyster sandwich.
nice.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we're also drinking wine. I think every time we do a video, we have to like make sure there's an alcoholic reference somewhere. So we're going to start by slicing the cabbage. For this, we're going to use a mandolin because we'll get a finer product. And then we want to keep the center of the cabbage in so that we have a finer product again. Find the ideal point to get really, really fine shaves of cabbage.
And why do we use Hispy cabbage?
So Hispy cabbage is a lot sweeter. It's almost like an Asian cabbage.
What would they have used in Japan if they were making
Japanese cabbage, which is like, they're quite flat, they're not as dense, and the leaves are a lot thinner. So it's sort of similar to this, but rather than being long, it's...
I see.
Yeah, I've gone ambitiously thin. Maybe a bit too ambitiously thin.
But we serve them raw, right? So it's,
Yeah, that's where you want to go, really as thin as possible. I've got water here.
Oh,
I put it in there. I've done Pretentious Evan.
nice. Oh, you should have told me.
But that's going to be a funny
I
part
know.
of the video.
I love it.
I think that's going to be enough because that's going to fluff up. So when you put vegetables in water, do you want it in a metal bowl or in
No, here. If we're gonna use the carafe, I mean.
So pretentiously fill up your bowl of water from a carafe. Evan never has ice though.
No.
So we'll pretend this is ice water. Yeah.
I have a very cold tap.
Well, this was filtered water, so it's...
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
then it's not cold. Sorry, guys.
But it is more pretentious.
Yes.
Next, we're going to blend some fresh bread to make some fresh panko.
And what is panko?
Panko's a Japanese breadcrumb. So breadcrumbs, it's generally using shokupan, which is a Japanese milk bread, which is a bit difficult to get. But if you can get it, it does make a better result.
But if not, what would be the best alternative?
Brioche is actually quite good, but anything that has a dairy fat content, obviously we've gone for shokupan because we found that earlier today.
Do we just split it?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Not bad.
yeah.
Wow. Too bad the camera's not pointing at. Do you not need to dry the bread before?
So we're going to use a fresh breadcrumb for this one.
I see.
Fresh breadcrumbs, I prefer them, and I don't know why. That should be okay. Yeah.
Still a bit moist, huh? In
Yeah.
a nice way.
Yeah. Oh, well, we have a lot of breadcrumbs. That's okay. If you have some monkfish lying around later, maybe we can do some monkfish. That's really fluffy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Almost looks like cheese. Right, so next we're going to put together a It's Not Tartar sauce. We're going to finely dice some shallots, hard boil an egg, which we might have done earlier. If you want a video of it, Evan can do it on another day. I don't know why
Interesting technique.
I always do it with a spoon. It's just a habit because I like making it clean up more. So we're going to pass the egg through the sieve. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. You genuinely can do that if you want. Yeah, why not? I don't think it'll go through. There's a bit of shell there, sorry. But that's not, the shell won't go through the
Left
sieve.
hook?
So you might want to use
How do you do it? You do it. You do it.
a spoon.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Can I
Let
continue
me wash
doing
my
that?
hands quickly. I just realized.
If you do that, I'll cut the
Okay.
shallot. And if you get like part of the video where it just shows me throwing things in the bin, it will just look like I'm throwing random shit on the floor.
You know, this is a really good way to separate Japanese tofu for soups, so they would look like needles.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you done that before?
Yeah, you literally cut the packaging and you put the packaging, you squeeze the tofu and it goes
Oh, yeah.
through.
Okay, so traditionally you would take the egg yolk out, but I really like the flavor of egg yolk, so we're not doing that. While Evan's doing that, on the other side of the board, I will have a quick glass of wine.
Not much coming through.
Here we come. It's really important for texture.
Should have boiled the white a bit longer, I feel.
This is why you get Evan to do it.
Oh yeah, okay. I see. Now it's coming.
Don't get Evan's knives though. Jeez, it's atrocious. It's okay. I know, leave it in there because we're gonna add a load of mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know you don't like metal bowls. If you use a white bowl, the mayonnaise will just blend in. So we've minced half a shallot, diced some shiso. We're going to do this to taste because I don't remember my own recipe.
It's a recent thing, huh? This recipe.
Yeah, so I approximately remember it.
Do you remove the stem in the middle when you slice, or you don't? Doesn't matter?
I removed the bottom, but I don't.
see.
You can, but for me it doesn't make enough of a textural difference to bother with my time. So do you want to ask why we...
So yeah, why are we washing this?
So I think it makes the herbs a bit fresher. It removes a little bit of bitterness. The Japanese really like washing vegetables after they're cut. So like for the cabbage, it will make it a lot more crispy and it removes some of
The harshness.
harshness,
Yeah.
bitterness, a sort of stringency, and it also makes it last a lot longer. So if you were to prep this a day or two in advance and you didn't wash the cabbage, it would turn kind of smelly and soggy and not very nice. nice. But if you wash it, it stays really crispy. It almost crisps up more, especially if you leave it in
Would you salt
water.
it though?
No, because that will start breaking down the structures. Then we're going to mince some sushi ginger, gari.
Does it matter which color?
I'm going to say it might look better with the red one. And then we've got some Kewpie mayonnaise.
Which is?
Japanese mayonnaise, which is mayonnaise that tastes better. What's the difference between that and mayonnaise? It's like more...
Very egg yolky.
It's more acidic as well.
And this I assume you could buy from most Asian supermarket. Or
Yes.
online.
You can probably buy it at like Waitrosy supermarkets as well. So we're going to add about 120 grams, I guess.
Sounds about right.
Do you give that mix? And then I'll just randomly sprinkle some bits in for you. That looks about the right texture. We're also going to add some wasabi. The best one to use is Kizami wasabi, which is... Kizami is just chopped.
But fresh?
No, it comes in a frozen packet, but it's very difficult to get. Thought we're better off just using a tube of wasabi. That means that you can make it at home a lot easier.
But taste, because some tubes are spicier than others.
Yeah, I think we want it to be quite spicy though. Wine? No, wine doesn't go in here. And then instead of, what do they use in tartar sauce? Dill.
Dill and sometimes gherkin.
So the gherkins is taken over by the
Sushi
ginger, and the dill is taken over by the shiso. So essentially we've just...
Making Japanese tartar.
Does it need a bit more wasabi, do you think?
Maybe a touch, because you can feel it, but depending on the size of the portion. Yeah, I think that's good. Especially when you get a bit of the ginger. What is this?
This is actually sushi vinegar. You can use lemon juice, you can use rice vinegar.
Just don't use balsamic.
So everything that's gone into here has a texture and flavor that makes it work like a tartar sauce would.
Tartar sauce ready. What's next?
Quickly open an egg, beat it up.
And we're using both the white and the yolk.
Oh no, like your mum would beat you up when you were a child for not getting your maths right.
Never happened.
Oh, your parents are nice.
No, the not getting maths right part. Never happened. Beating often.
Right.
No, I'm joking. No.
I think that's pretty good. And now we're gonna open some oysters. Always use a cloth. Paper towel is, if you know what you're doing, a paper towel is okay. We're going to wash these anyway, so it doesn't matter about us getting shell into the oyster, but it does matter. If you go in through the back, there's a chance that you'll stab it. So we're gonna go in through the side.
Not bad. Wow, that was good.
It's actually not that bad.
That was really good. I'm not sure how sharp this is. Maybe I'll give you a different knife for that.
Oh no, it's gonna be fine. And then you just release the oyster.
Beautiful.
They're huge.
Wow.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is find the point where the top shell and the bottom shell meet each other. The shell's actually really easy to break through as well, as you can see there. If you're unsure where it is, just break down on the top shell and you can start to see the white, which is the inside of the bottom shell, and then we'll go in. This is not the easiest oyster knife to use. So the reason why I wouldn't open this to eat a raw oyster this way, because you get a lot of the shell on the inside. So in that sense, opening from the back is the best, but because we're washing the oyster anyway.
Normally, if I know I'm gonna cook the oysters, I just steam them for 5 minutes and then pull the top off. These are the Austrian ones, yeah?
Austria?
I think so.
Really? Austria has oysters?
Google that. I thought so.
Why would they get oysters from Austria? Because Austria is landlocked.
Well, you don't need ocean for oysters, do you? Tokyo Bay has oysters.
Yeah, but Tokyo's a bay.
Yeah, true.
It's not a river or a lake. This one's a bit more annoying. It's actually really annoying, this one. If it works, okay?
Should I come back in 5 minutes? Or...
No, this is done. But you could have gone and had a nap, you know.
Perfect.
So now we're gonna give these a quick rinse.
Why do we rinse them?
To make sure there's no shell. We also don't want them to be super salty, and we're going to dry them off anyway.
Oh, they're beautiful.
So into the flour, and then you don't want too much flour on it. You just want it nice and evenly coated, and into the egg. If you use chopsticks, you're not gonna get your hands dirty, which is why I use chopsticks. And then for this part, it's the only part that I don't bother using chopsticks. Just coat the oyster in the breadcrumbs, and if you make sure it's got breadcrumbs over it before you touch it, you don't get anything on your hands that sticks too aggressively. That's one done.
Brilliant.
I like that, that's genius.
Now, take it out. You want it quite coated, yeah?
The more coated it is, the bigger it will be after
I
we
see.
fry it, and it will just look better. We're already at 50 degrees.
What's the optimal for frying? 170?
Yeah, we're up to 122.
That's fast.
And because an oyster is only going to fit on a quarter of a slice of bread, we're just going to trim it down into a perfect square.
Hot oil coming through.
Yes, chef.
So for this we want 170, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit. 165. Getting there.
Yeah, that's okay. While you're doing that, I'll
Drink.
be really dangerous. Hot oil and water going over it. Come on, that is a recipe for success.
Okay, we're there.
Yep. What, putting raw oysters into
Yeah.
it?
I'm just gonna stand back.
So as with everything, drop away from you.
If you're doing it in huge batches at home, by the way, don't crowd the pan.
Yeah.
We're doing 4, so.
This is something that I'd probably do for a starter anyway, because it's so rich. If you've got anything like oysters, or you could do this with Wagyu or tuna or like red mullet or something like that. Even like prawns, pork, anything that's like got a rich, fatty, something along those lines, it works really well. And generally for those sort of things, you don't want to eat a large amount because it's very intensive and quite filling. So when they become nice and golden, we'll put them on here. We've also taken the cabbage out of the water, so it's drying off.
These two kind of sticking, but I'll let them crisp up first.
Yeah. You see how the cabbage has turned quite translucent, like clear translucent. That's how you know when it's going to be really nice and like glassy, crispy. They're almost ready.
Yeah, we're getting there. Do you want wooden chopsticks or you want to use?
Do you have wooden chopsticks? Evan, you do have cooking chopsticks.
Is that what you meant by cooking chopsticks?
No. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they look so good.
Then when removing the oysters, try and get as much oil off them as possible. The first best way to do that is by keeping the oyster a tiny bit in the oil, and the oil will sort of pull the rest of the oil off from the outside. And then if you just shake it a little bit after that, that would be lovely.
I think like
Fantastic.
at home, if you're gonna do more than that, I would skim off the panko
Yes.
before adding the next batch so that we don't end up with burnt oil.
The more you clean the oil, the more the oil lasts better. Now, final thing is going to be frying off the bread in this carefully placed butter.
At home, could they use a toaster?
No, because you want a butter content.
I see, you're gonna fry it in the butter.
The bread in the butter, not the egg. So you just want a very small amount of butter. You don't want the toast to be too greasy. So there's not quite enough butter in the pan for it to coat the pan entirely. But we're just going to use the bread to move around the butter to make it coated. That's so that there's not too much butter on the bread.
And if you are using shoku pan, be a bit careful because of the sugar and the milk content. They would burn faster than regular white bread.
And the same with brioche.
I always wonder, after frying something, if I put them in a salad spinner, would it remove the excess oil? It needs
Probably
to be
not.
something sturdy.
It would probably also cook the plastic. But if you put it in like a warm oven, maybe.
Yeah, I normally do wire rack,
Yeah.
warm oven, and just let it drip.
That's definitely our presentation side. That looks lovely.
Beautiful. Round 2 is always more golden than round 1.
I think that this is better.
This is
though.
perfect.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
So I'm just going to very lightly season the oysters. There's still a lot of salt on the inside, but because the bread was not salty, we always season the outside a little bit.
They look incredible.
Okay, so first one we're going to flip our toast because we want the underside to be, mainly for this one, it's what hits your tongue. It's going to have a better texture. We're going to put a tiny bit of tartar sauce because we're going to put a bit more on top. A little bit of cabbage.
Oh, crispy.
Quite nice oyster. If you really want to like go the extra mile with this, a little bit of caviar on top. One.
Cabbage.
Oh yeah. I was getting excited, yeah.
Or maybe you turn one and you don't turn the other, even better.
Oh yeah, because then if we were at a table, there'd be one facing both of us.
Incredible.
That's actually quite a cool idea. So that's our fried oyster sandwich done.
How long has it been on the menu?
I think it's actually not on the menu anymore.
How many of these do we eat? Do you cover? Yeah, okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Incredible. This tartar is so savory.
That oyster works brilliantly.
You get a bit of delayed salinity.
But it's also really nice and creamy and really rich, which is what you need to stand up to the oil and the fat of the mayonnaise and the bread.
The drop.